Every 50 years, just past midnight, an empty platform welcomes a train that was never supposed to return. In the forgotten village of Eldergrove, where the fog hung low and the trees whispered secrets, there stood an abandoned railway platform the locals refused to talk about. It had no signs, no lights, and officially it didn't exist. The rail company denied it ever operated there. But the older villagers, the ones who kept their curtains drawn at night, called it Platform 3, and warned never to visit it in early November. Every 50 years, on the night of the third frost moon, the Blackmore Express appeared. A ghost train, some said. A doorway, others whispered. But all agreed. Those who boarded it never returned. Eleanor Blake was not one for legends. A hardened historian, she believed in evidence, archives, and rational explanations. Until one day, while cataloging Old Town documents, she found a manifest from 1875, 37 names, each neatly signed. Destination: Grimsby Hollow, on a line that no longer existed. What truly disturbed her wasn't the train's name, Blackmore Express, or the eerie date it departed, November 3rd, 1875. It was the fact that some of the names were familiar. A few belonged to local figures who had vanished without a trace in 1925. Others matched people she had read about from 1975, tourists, students, even a missing professor from her own university. Every 50 years. Always on the same night. Digging deeper, Eleanor found a journal written by a long-dead station master. November 2nd, 1925. Fog heavy. Heard the whistle again. Saw the girl from the bakery, red coat, white gloves, but she died last year. She waved as the train passed. I didn't wave back. She chalked it up to coincidence. That is, until a second manifest appeared, identical in style, dated 1925. And then another from 1975. Each time, 37 names. None ever seen again. Some part of her wanted to stop, but the pieces wouldn't let her. The past wasn't staying buried. And as the date approached again in 2025, Eleanor's dreams changed. She began seeing railway lights in her sleep, hearing the distant cry of a whistle that hadn't sounded in decades. Her grandmother's warning echoed in her mind. Don't listen when the train calls your name, Ellie. It remembers who you are. Still, Eleanor needed to know. She had to see it with her own eyes. November 3rd, 2025. The third frost moon hung low in the sky like a silver coin dipped in blood. Fog rolled in from the woods, thicker than it had been in years. Eleanor slipped through the overgrown hedges and the rusted fencing, heart pounding against her ribs. Platform 3 waited in silence. Then the hum. Metal grinding against metal. A whistle so long and low it felt like it came from the bones of the earth itself. The fog parted. The train arrived. It didn't look old. It didn't look new. It looked untouched by time. The Blackmore Express gleamed with an impossible glow, its windows warm with golden light. As it pulled to a stop, Eleanor's breath caught in her throat. Behind the glass, faces. Men in bowler hats. Women with parasols. A boy with a Walkman. A girl in a 1970s denim jacket. They stared not at her, but through her. Eyes glassy, mouths unmoving, as if they were dreaming a memory they couldn't wake from. Then the door hissed open. Out stepped the conductor. His uniform was flawless, stitched with black thread that shimmered like coal. His eyes were pale gray, his skin waxy and thin. But his voice was honeyed velvet. Miss Eleanor Blake, right on time. She stepped back. How do you know my name? But he didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out a silver ticket. Engraved, not printed. Her name was already etched into it. No one is ever early, he said, and no one boards by mistake. I never asked to ride, she said, trembling. The conductor's smile never changed. Yet you came. That is always the invitation. Behind him, the train lights flickered softly. The windows no longer showed passengers. Just darkness. Endless, absolute. Something cold touched her hand. She looked down. The ticket was in her fingers. She didn't know how it got there. She hadn't taken it. Hadn't even seen it pass between them. Eleanor's legs began to move, against her will, or maybe not. Maybe she had been moving toward this her whole life. As her foot crossed the threshold, she turned back one last time. The fog was clearing slightly, and in the distance, through the trees, she thought she saw something. A small boy, waving from the edge of the woods. Her brother? But he died when she was a child. The conductor followed her in. The door sealed shut with a hiss. The train jerked once, and then it moved. No engine. No noise. Just motion, slipping through the world like it was slicing through the very fabric of time. The final thing Eleanor heard before the train vanished into the mist was the whistle. Long haunting, and then silence. By sunrise, Platform 3 was gone again. Covered in vines, rotting wood, rusted tracks, just as it always was. 37 people were reported missing across the country that week. The number never changed. No one ever mentioned Eleanor's name on the news. But in the records of the Eldergrove Historical Society, a new ledger quietly appeared. Bound in leather, dated 2025. 37 names inside. The last one, Eleanor Blake, historian.